Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is the Anime Man. So I've had a lot of video requests. This is I guess it's a highly requested video from a lot of you guys because if you guys know, I'm fluent in Japanese. I'm pretty much pretty close to native speaker of Japanese as well as English, and I've shown that through a lot of my videos, especially through my course party videos where I do the translating things like that. And obviously the question that I get asked more than at least 10 times a day from different people is, how did you learn to speak Japanese so well? Now, I've already made a video a long time ago called the secret to learning Japanese revealed, which is in the description below if you guys want to go check that out. But you guys have been asking me what are some, I'm trying to learn Japanese, and I'm studying, but I don't know how to get better. I don't know how to go from, okay, I started learning Japanese, but how do I move up to the next step, and a step above that, and a step above that, and then possibly end up being able to speak Japanese like you, Joey. And so I decided to make this video once and for all. Now, I can't give you conventional tips and tricks like that, the stuff that they teach you in Japanese textbooks, because I pretty much from when I was little, I learned from my mum, who is Japanese, full Japanese, until around the age of probably when I started to go to school. After that, I just pretty much taught myself. So the ways that I taught myself Japanese isn't I don't know if it's the proper way or not. Maybe it is the proper way, maybe it's not. But regardless, it is. I'm going off my experiences of learning Japanese. But yeah, guys, the number one thing that I can say when starting off Japanese is forget everything about reading and writing. You don't need to worry about that shit at all. If you're just starting off, take the reading and writing section of I want to learn Japanese out of your system, because you don't need that shit. Right now, if you're starting to learn Japanese, the one thing you need to focus on is speaking and communicating. Because if you think about it, guys, if you can't speak it or you can't listen to it, how the hell are you going to read it or write it? You can't, right? And this applies with any new language. When you're starting, it's not only Japanese, but it applies very closely to Japanese and other languages where the reading and writing system, or the characters used in reading and writing, are different from conventional alphabets. Because there are other languages out there, like a lot of European languages, that still use the traditional alphabet, right? So just based off that, it might be pronounced differently, but you can still kind of read it just from basing it off your understanding of the alphabet, right? I'm assuming you guys are English speakers, by the way. And now you know that Japanese and other Asian countries like Chinese, Korean, Arabic, pretty much all those other reading and writing countries that use different characters from alphabets, right? You're gonna have to learn that shit from scratch. English, you can't bring in the alphabet in that at all. Alright, so that's what makes it more difficult. For the time being, guys, when you're starting to learn Japanese, forget everything about reading and writing. You don't need to know that at all. In fact, to be honest, reading and writing isn't even that much of isn't that much of a concern, especially writing. Since we've been using laptops now, and with the laptops, it's really easy to write all the kanji that otherwise will be so difficult to learn and remember, and then use that to write stuff in. Before, now you can just, on Word or something, you can just type it up and it's boom, it's there, But other than that, guys, when it comes to learning a new language, reading and writing isn't that important. The one thing, or the two things that are really, really important are speaking and listening. If you can't hold a conversation with someone in that particular language, then you're fucked. Just straight up, you're fucked. Now, once you've got reading and writing out of your system, now you have to start learning stuff, right? So I kind of covered this in the Secret to Learning Japanese Revealed video that I did, which again is in the description below if you guys haven't seen it. But the one thing, guys, that you need to do is to use as many mediums as you can. Now, when I say use as many mediums as you can, I mean if you're an avid anime watcher, don't rely only on anime. Never do that. It is not good. I said it in the last video that I did, the Japanese video, but you will never be able to perfect or even get remotely good at speaking and listening to Japanese just from watching anime and manga. It just doesn't happen like that. It could happen, but it's going to take you a lot longer than it should. The best thing to do, guys, is to mix up all the stuff. So yeah, go ahead, go watch anime, go read the manga, or you might not be able to read the manga since that's reading, but you can go watch anime. But don't just do that. Try and maybe listen to the news. The best thing to do is go to Japan, actually, and to try and communicate with the people over there in Japanese as best as you can. So pick up words when watching anime, and then try and remember it. That's, I think, a really good thing when it comes to subbed anime. Subbed anime is just a natural learning tool for people who want to speak Japanese, because you listen to the Japanese, right? So you got the listening out of the way, and you're reading the subtitles at the same time, right? So once you get used to it, you can start to pick up words and then correlate it with words in the subtitles. This is based off the fact that, the subtitles are actually remotely accurate, which luckily 99% of subtitles are. Out there is these things called speed learning, which is pretty much like a tape, or they don't have tapes anymore, but like podcasts pretty much, of people who are speaking to you while you listen. It's like a podcast, but it's like a person that's constantly speaking to you while through your headphones, right? Or through your iPhone or something, or some kind of MP3 player system, right? And they just consistently talk to you. Now you don't have to answer back and do the stuff say this and then you just answer back. No, you don't even need to do that. You can just let it ring. You could go on and do your everyday stuff. You can fucking go and have a jog, when you're walking to the nearest bus stop, on the bus, or on the train, during transport. Pretty much those times when you would just regularly just pop in your headphones to start listening to music, you can play those speed learning programs. And what that does, it's called there is a term for it, which I learned. I think it's called unconditional listening. You guys are gonna have to correct me, teachers, if you're in the comments, correct me on this shit. I think it's called unconditional learning. It's unconditional listening, pardon me. You're listening, but you're not paying attention to it. But even though you may not be actually putting all your focus towards it, your brain is still picking up those words, just naturally. That's just how our brain works. Your brain just picks up those words naturally, and over the time, over many times of listening to all these different speed talkers, speed learners, inside your brain, you just naturally gets inputted. Those words and what those words mean get naturally inputted. And that's pretty much what anime is doing. That's pretty much what Japanese anime, Japanese radio, Japanese news stations are doing. Now, the difference between, especially with anime, subbed anime, is that you have the power of the subtitle of which is in your native language in which you can completely understand, right? So subbed anime is pretty much speed learning with training wheels. It's it's as easy as that gets, right? So really, when you're the next time you're watching subbed anime, try and pay attention to that kind of stuff. Try and actually listen. Try not to get too focused on the subtitles, and actually try and maybe listen to the words. And you never know, you might be able to pick up words. You're oh yeah, I've heard that word before. Let's see what it says on the sub. Oh, okay, so that word means that. Okay, so the next time, so there you go, I've learned a word. So, friend in Japanese is nakama or tomodachi. Oh wait, okay, there's two different ways of saying it. Okay, I'm gonna have to write that down. And it's just recital after that. It's just recital. And the best way to do that is to get, like I said, maybe go to Japan and try and use those words in actual real life context, or if you don't have enough money, then make a friend who can speak maybe a little bit better level of Japanese, or maybe the same level of Japanese, and just have a conversation with him or her in Japanese. Try and pretty much use the words that you've learned into the real world. That's pretty much the only tips I can give you when it comes to learning Japanese. Reading and writing is a totally different story. I'm probably gonna make another video on that if you guys want that kind of video, but like I said, I didn't learn Japanese in proper conventional ways, so there's not really a lot of tips that I can give you guys. You just have to, but overall guys, you need to be dedicated to learn the language. Japanese especially, Japanese is such a complex language to learn, and it's so different from English or any other language out there. It takes a lot of dedication to learn. It can't just be, it's not a language that can be learned casually. You can't just sit there overnight and be oh yeah, I think I might go ahead and, I'm a little bit bored, so I might go ahead and teach myself Japanese. It's not that kind of language, trust me. I've spent like almost 20 years speaking the language, and it is not an easy language to learn or master. So, to anyone out there who hopefully got some tips and tricks out of it, good luck to all of you. And like I said, if you guys want like any other videos where I give you guys tips on learning Japanese or like how to do that kind of stuff, leave some suggestions in the comments below, and if there's enough people that ask the same kind of question, then I'll make a video for you guys about it. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. As always, like and favorite if you enjoy, subscribe from Anime Banter, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Keep learning Japanese. Johnny!